Welcome Eurosport fans to the 1994 World Championship karting in Córdoba, Argentina.
The Karting World Championships is the premier event in the karting calendar and the most important step on a young driver's progress up the ladder of motor racing if he started his career in karting. Well, for 1994, the 31st running of the Karting World Championship visited Argentina on September the 18th and 19th. Visiting the city of Cordoba, some 500 kilometers away from Buenos Aires, and receiving a very, very enthusiastic welcome from the motorsport fans of South America. It's one of the few occasions that the World Championships have been held outside Europe. Let's take a look at the circuit then. Purpose-built kart circuit used here in Argentina, recently relayed, so the tarmac surface quite new here, and that certainly could affect things over the course of the weekend. But there a chance to look at the track, a couple of hairpins involved, but really only 3 major braking areas going into those tighter corners. And the rest of it all pretty fast, virtually flat out stuff all the way back round to the start-finish line once again. Well, 100 competitors will be racing here in 2 separate categories, the Formula A and Formula Super A. 2 categories of karting, all using the 100 cc's.
A long promotion in South America and Argentina, because the people here, the organize the South American Championship, a Panamericana, and they are very, very professional.
Well, that was Ernest Buser, president of the Karting Federation of FISA, and the gentleman from the Argentinian Motor Racing Foundation as well, Rafael Sierra, telling us that the support for motor racing in Argentina is absolutely huge. Unfortunately, we didn't get a Grand Prix this year when we had planned to, but still, there's a lot of support for Formula 1. We've got some drivers on their way up. You mentioned Alberto Fontana, who's doing the German Formula 3 Championship at the moment, and hoping that Argentina will crack into Formula 1 racing in the near future. Well, here are the 100 drivers or so lined up, ready for the start of the event, and it really is a big event, a very important step, as I say, in any kart driver's career. Well, there, the young lad in the Senna helmet, and this circuit being renamed after Ayrton Senna, who still is in the mind very much of all the motorsport fans in South America. Well, Senna himself finished runner-up in 2 years running in 1979 and 1980 in the Karting World Championships, and never quite managed to win it. It was one thing perhaps that he never really did quite manage to win, although he did try on several occasions. But nevertheless, some great names have won the event. Riccardo Patrese amongst them in 1974, and since then we've seen some names that have also come through in motor racing circles. More recently, Jan Magnussen, who won the World Championship in 1990. Well, the presentation made and the unveiling of the plaque to rename the circuit after Ayrton Senna, whose early career was so much made up of karting. He started his karting when he was just 4 years old, when his father had built him a kart originally, and his first race was in 1973 at Interlagos. He won the South American Championship in 1977, went on to become 4 times Brazilian kart champion, before going on to the World Championships, and then of course making the switch to cars.
Of the race, I had a little bit problem with the carburetor, and in the end of the race I was fast, so I'm happy.
Are we going to see an Italian world champion?
Maybe, I hope.
Success.
I hope.
Well, that was Marco Barindelli, one of the Italian hotshots in Formula A, the slightly lower category, if you like, of the World Championships here, Formula A and Formula Super A. So Formula A, if you like, is the Formula 3000 of the kart world. A little driver's briefing going on before this final of the Formula A. We're going to take a look at the final of the Formula A, and then we're going to take a look at the pre-final of the Formula Super A, and then the big final of the Formula Super A as well. So these are the karts coming out for the final of the Formula A. As I mentioned, the category just below the very top level of karting, and representatives from all over the world competing in this form of racing, getting ready for their final. Now then, Marco Barindelli, the man we were talking to just there, he takes pole position for this race, having won the pre-final, and that sets him up on the front row in pole position. Alongside him is the Frenchman Arnaud Sarrazin, and then just in behind them we've got Maxime Kumpen from Belgium and Daniele Dallari from Italy. A little further down the field is Britain's David O'Neill. He's qualified 7th fastest for this final, and that's a superb effort because he had a lot of problems early on in the heats. He managed to qualify in 17th place for the last chance race, the repechage, and he managed to finish in 3rd place in that, and it was only the top 4 that went through into the final. So he scraped into the final. He had to start the pre-final in 31st place, and he fought his way up into 7th position. So he now starts this final of the Formula A in 7th place on the grid. David O'Neill, the only British representative in this particular race, but we will be seeing some more Britons out in the final of the Super A. So everyone getting ready then for the start of the race. The karts are non-gearbox karts, so they require a push start at the start, and no gearbox involved, no gear changing. They all run the 100cc 2-stroke engines, very high revving motors, revving up to sort of 11,500 revs, and with no gears to worry about. It's just a brake and an accelerator and a steering wheel. That's how the guys control these karts, but they are very, very quick indeed, getting up to speeds of around 100 miles per hour as we get ready for the start, as they go around on their formation lap here in Cordoba, ready for the start of the Formula A final. Marco Barindelli and Arnaud Sarrazin leading them around and ready for the lights to change to green. It's a rolling start in karting, and here we go then at the start, and it's an excellent start from Marco Barindelli, and Arnaud Sarrazin adds Sarrazin, in fact it is, who goes, oh, and there's somebody off in the background. That clash at the first corner taking a couple of karts out wide, but it's Sarrazin who's actually gone into the lead, the Frenchman who takes the lead from Marco Barindelli. There is Sarrazin, number 166. And they were just taking another quick look at the incident. Well, really just everybody trying to get in where there wasn't quite space, and somebody suffering as a result of that. But look at this, the battle on between Sarrazin and Barindelli for the lead of the race. 3rd place is Maxime Kumpen at the moment. And then the rest of the field fighting through one of these chicanes. Very quick section of the circuit, and it's Sarrazin who ducks down to try and reduce the aerodynamic drag as they head round at the end of lap 1, and he's certainly being chased hard by Marco Barindelli in 2nd. These two beginning to just get a little bit of a gap over that 3rd place man, Maxime Kumpen. Well, Arnaud Sarrazin, runner-up in the European Championships this year. The European Championships held over 4 events, 8 races, with 2 races at each of the events. And Sarrazin became the runner-up in that championship to David Four. Well, David Four hasn't gone quite so well in this particular World Championship event as yet, and he qualified down in 17th place for this race. So the European champion of the Formula A not having such a good run here in Argentina. Still the battle going on for the lead between Arnaud Sarrazin and just behind him the Italian Barindelli. Then the battle going on just behind these two. Behind them is the Japanese driver, is well up as well, Koji Yamanashi. And he's up into 5th position now, Yamanashi. So that's an excellent performance from him. It's Maxime Kumpen still in 3rd place. Oh, we've got somebody off there. That looks like the only lady in the race. That's Judith Foddo who's off. So that's very unfortunate. Also going pretty slowly there is Gaston Novo, but here come our leaders. Arnaud Sarrazin still leading ahead of Barindelli in 2nd position. They're coming up to get past one of the back markers already. Look at this battle going on behind. Well, Kumpen there, as we see Judy Forro going out of the race, helmet off, and well, that's certainly the end of her World Championship hopes. Well, it looks like Maxime Kumpen has been displaced there. Going up into that 3rd position now is Daniele Dallari. So Dallari's come through up into 3rd place. Still this battle going on between Barindelli and the Frenchman up front, Arnaud Sarrazin. Sarrazin ducking down once again to try and reduce that aerodynamic drag. But look at this, a challenge from Barandelli. No, he can't quite get down the inside of Sarrazin. So still the Frenchman continues to lead ahead of the Italian. Then there's Daniele Dallari, the Italian, another Italian in third position. Maxime Kumpen just behind in fourth position. Well, Sarrazin driving the Techno frame with a Rotax engine. These karts having to weigh 140 kilograms, all up with the driver as well. So very light indeed, and very quickly accelerating out of these tight corners. Watching them through the chicane. Look at Sarrazin's coming under pressure once again from Barandelli. Still the battle goes on, and Barandelli now trying to get down the inside. Well, he's got down the inside this time of Sarrazin, and Sarrazin's displaced as race leader in the Formula A final. Still this battle going on for third though. Kumpen's come back up into third position in fact. So Kumpen now back into third place and just ahead of the number 112. And that is Julien Degout, who's come up well. Still this battle going on for the lead though. It's still not over between Barandelli and Sarrazin. Sarrazin wanting to make up for not quite taking the European title this year. He wants to try and take the World Championship. It is such an important step in the career of these young drivers. Most of them in their late teens, early teens, some of them, especially in Formula A, because this the slightly junior category to Formula Super A. But to even get to this level, all of the drivers have had to perform at a very high level indeed in their own countries. The only way they qualify for a license to race at this level is to have performed successfully in the national championships or to have done well in the European Intercontinental Series. So this really is a very high level of karting, and these are some of the best kart drivers in the world. And still up front, it's the battle between Marco Barandelli and Arnaud Sarrazin. These two still enjoying their own tight battle up front, with everybody else trying to get on terms with them. We're going to come back with more action from this Formula A final here on Eurosport in a moment. Welcome back to World Championship Karting here on Eurosport. The action from Cordoba in Argentina, as up front the battle is going on between the Italian Marco Barandelli and the Frenchman Arnaud Sarrazin. Still battles going on all the way down the field as well. It is very close competitive racing as ever at this very, very top level of karting. It's a battle for the lead, and look at that, Sarrazin has gone back past Barandelli. So Sarrazin now in charge once again. And as this race progresses, the battle between these two leaders really is very fierce indeed. And Barandelli knows he now has some more work to do if he's to get back on terms with Sarrazin. Will try and challenge and go past. Not easy on this circuit with only really 3 key braking areas. That making it all the more difficult to try and dive down the inside. Maxime Kumpen still holding on to third place. And David O'Neill running strongly in the top 10 as well. But not finding the track conditions suiting him quite as well. Very, very high temperatures here on the finals day. As look at this, Barandelli has another look at Sarrazin there. Still can't quite get through. But those high temperatures are seeing the track in a very, very slippery state. And also the wind is blowing the dust onto the circuit in places. It's making track conditions very difficult indeed, and quite different to how it was in the qualifying and in the heats as well, with the lap times being reduced by a couple of seconds here in the finals, as opposed to what they were managing to do on the Saturday in the heat. So they're having to readjust their driving styles to this very slippery surface. Oh, and that's a big accident indeed between Maxime Kumpen and Luca Casazza. Well, the two teammates, they've gone off in a very big way indeed, and Casazza was the man who got thrown against the barrier there, against the fencing. Let's take another look. Look at Casazza get thrown out of his kart and up into the tyres and into the fencing, and well, a very nasty accident indeed for the two of them. But well, thankfully there is Maxime Kumpen walking away, looking fairly fired up after all that, and there is Casazza, and Casazza basically looking unhurt after that very scary looking accident. No seatbelts used in karting. It's considered to be safer to be thrown clear as we watch the battle for the lead. Oh, Barandelli's got ahead, but he's got it all a bit crossed up. He's off. He's on the dirt on the outside of the hairpin. He went in a little too quick. He braked so late to get past Arnaud Sarrazin that he just went in too fast, couldn't control it, ran wide on the exit, and that really has dropped him back now. He's managed to stay in second place by the looks of things, but he's lost him a lot of time and Sarrazin now happy. Well, this is Maxime Kumpen, the man who was in that nasty accident, and he's saying, well, yeah, we were just coming down the back straight there, and he said, we were just going carefully, I didn't want to crash at all, my teammate hit me, he hit me from behind, and now, of course, it's all over, so I'm really very upset about that. He says, well, I'm basically okay, but just a bit bashed around. Well, the great shame for Maxime Kumpen, taken out of the race by his teammate, and a very disappointing way to end his World Championship. But up front, Arnaud Sarrazin really now has a very healthy lead. That mistake from Barandelli has made things much easier for Arnaud Sarrazin. Really now under well, certainly not anywhere near the sort of pressure he was earlier, but look at that, he's gone wide, oh, he's gone off into the gravel. Sarrazin, the man who had a healthy lead when Barandelli made the mistake, suddenly runs wide into that first corner, and he's thrown it all away. Surely now he's trying to bump start the kart to get going again, but that was the moment he went off. He got on the dirt on the outside, and you could see there that sandy, dusty surface on the outside giving him no grip whatsoever. And Sarrazin, from looking to be a comfortable winner of the 1994 Formula A World Championship, sees his hopes go up in smoke, and the end of the race for the Frenchman. So the man who was runner-up in the European title race is losing out here in the World Championship as well, and he is not going to take the victory. Bitterly disappointing for him, and for Marco Barandelli, given a second chance after he ran wide in that earlier part of the race. So for Barandelli, he really must be feeling happy now on the Haas frame with the Rotax engine and Haas equipment, the same chassis that took Gianni Berti to Formula Super A World Championship honours last year, and it looks as though the Haas chassis is going to take victory once again in Formula A this year, thanks to Marco Barandelli. He's got a very big lead indeed, a long way ahead of the battles behind him. It's the Japanese driver who's going well behind him, Koji Yanamishi, and Frederic Blin has come up well in third place now as well. Daniele Dallari is up there in fourth position. David O'Neill's going well, and he's up in sixth position. So looks as though he's going to get a good finish here, but not quite able to run with the leaders. Certainly not with this man, Marco Barandelli. But nevertheless, good run from David O'Neill, 20-year-old from Ascot, who's been karting for 4 years now, currently lying third in the British Championships at the moment, and certainly having a very good performance here in the World Championships. So the leader's gone through. We wait. There's the gap back to second place. There is Yamanishi in second place. Then it's Frederic Blin in third. But it's the checkered flag and the victory for Marco Barandelli. Barandelli takes the win then, and the all-important World Championship is his. Superb performance from him, and he will be absolutely delighted with that. Finished 7th in the European Championships this year, Marco Barandelli, but this now surely a step up for the future. He's likely to step up to Formula Super A, and we'll be watching the Formula Super A pre-final and final in a few minutes' time here. But for the moment, Barandelli, the winner of the Formula A, and that a very important victory indeed. Well, the first ever Formula A title, when the championships were split to Formula K and Formula A, was won by Emmanuel Collard back in 1988. He is now Williams' test driver, so watch out for the progress of Marco Barandelli in the future. We had a word with him after the end of the race.
Yes, I'm very happy because I made a fault in the beginning of the race, and then Sarrazin made his fault, and now and I win the race.
You are happy?
Yeah, for sure.
And next year Formula Super A?
Maybe, yes.
Maybe. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So Barandelli taking the victory then, and well, certainly will be interesting to see his progress and see whether he is in the future a Grand Prix driver, a name that we can reckon with. Marco Barandelli.